What is an escalation clause and when should you use one? Let's talk about that, so stay tuned. Welcome back to our YouTube channel, everyone. My name is Lauri Howes and I'm a realtor with Keller Williams Realty, Eugene, Springfield, and Team Howes. And today we're going to talk about the escalation clause, what it is, how to use it, and what is its best use. So don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring that notification bell as we produce new videos every Thursday for your enjoyment and education. So today we're going to talk about the escalation clause, when to use it, how to use it, the pros and the cons. So let me quickly explain the escalation clause to you and how it's used. First, let's talk about some terminology. The escalation factor is the amount in increments your bid will increase. The cap is the highest amount you are willing to pay for the property, and documentation is proof of the offer that triggered the escalation clause to begin with. So you want to make sure there actually was an offer that triggered your escalation clause. Here's the simplest way that I can explain the escalation clause and how it works. So the listing agent lists the home for the seller at $350,000. This is how the multiple offer works when you have an escalation clause thrown in there. So in this scenario, offer 1 is $355,000. Offer 2 is $360,000, but the buyer needs $7,000 in seller concessions, closing costs. And offer 3 is $350,000 with an escalation clause or escalating factor of $1,000, and it will cap at $365,000. So net to seller, offer number 1 was $355,000, which netted $355,000. That triggered the escalation clause. Offer 2 came in high at $360,000, but that does not mean that the person with the escalation clause has to pay $361,000 because he is asking for seller's concessions, closing costs. So that brings his net down to $353,000. So offer 3 was for asking price or list price at $350,000, but once that escalation clause was triggered, he had to compete with the $355,000 offer. So the escalating factor was $1,000, and he net the seller $356,000. Now that you understand a little bit about the escalation clause, what are the cons in using an escalation clause? We'll go over those first. Con number 1, the listing agent may not understand what an escalation clause even is. In a hot seller's market, the sellers usually receive several competing offers. So first thing you should do is call that listing agent. Call the listing agent, ask them if they will accept an escalation clause, and if they say yay, great. If they say don't really understand what you're talking about, then gently explain what the escalation clause is and how it works for your buyer so they understand how it is working and how to explain it to the seller if they decide to accept one. Con number 2, the investor. Have your buyer's agent check with the listing agent to determine if the home is being sold by an investor or by someone who is selling their own personal family home. With an investor, their main goal is their net. They always want highest and best, and they want to make that, they usually put that in the listing right up front. So if you're going to write an offer, you want to give it your all, and so that's how they work. An escalation clause probably won't work as well with them. Again, another point with that is if you have a buyer that puts on an offer for cash with a very short close versus your escalation clause, which may be $1,000 more, the investor understands it will close quick for a good amount of money, and that extra $1,000 doesn't really make any sense to him. He'd rather get the deal done. And con number 3, the savvy seller. The savvy seller is after his net again. He's not interested really in what's going on with the offers. He's more interested in the highest and best, just like an investor. So you have to remember those 3 things, those 3 cons when you're talking to your agent about escalation clauses. And one more thing about that savvy seller. If he has 4 or 5 offers and he doesn't really like any of them, but you have capped way above the highest and closest offer to yours, then he can counter back with you on your highest cap. So keep that in mind. Before we get to the pros, remember that if you are using an escalation clause and you're going to bump your bid up $20,000 higher than what the asking price is, make sure and check with your lender so they can ensure you that you can bump that offer up to that point, to that extra $20,000. Now let's move on to the pros. Pro number one, peace of mind for your buyer. So you've been out looking at homes, your buyer has written several offers on several different homes that they fell in love with and have lost every one of them. The escalation clause can win the day. And along with that escalation clause, if it's a normal seller that has personal love for the home and really wants a new family to move in and love the home as much as they do, have your buyer write a letter of who they are, the family they are, and why they want to live in this house and in this neighborhood. That has always worked well for me. Number two, and this is a big one, I've used an escalation clause several times in my business, and it's a great tool to keep your buyer from overpaying for the property. So when you see a highest and best and you're all excited about what should we really offer, you don't know what the highest is, where you should go with that, then consider the escalation clause. We had a recent sale. My buyer wanted to purchase a fixer-upper, and the price was $255,000. We were thinking that they would definitely get bid up. It was over the weekend, so we decided to do an escalation clause and escalate at $1,000 up to $280,000. So that was our top price. We knew it was our top price, and we just hoped that there weren't too many bids to jack it up. The only other bid was $255,900, and that escalated us to $256,900. So my clients essentially got the home for $256,900, which is far cry from $280,000. So it does work at times, the good of the buyer. I hope you have enjoyed this video on escalation clauses. If you have any questions at all, just drop a comment in the comment box below, hit the like button, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell because we do new videos every Mondays and Thursdays. Mondays are event videos, what's going on in Eugene and Springfield, and Thursdays are educational or just really fun videos. So enjoy your week. Cheers!